Good evening and welcome to Camden Military's Google Hangout tonight. Tonight we're going to be discussing Camden Military Academy with some of our cadets as well as some of our alumni that have graduated. We have someone from the class of 2001, 2013, and then we have 4 young men who will be graduating this Sunday. So we're excited, and I'm going to first of all let them introduce themselves, and we'll start out first with the alumni. So Rivers, tell us a little bit about yourself, say your name, where you're from, and
All right. The name is Rivers Killen, graduated class of 2001 from Pawleys Island, South Carolina originally. Currently live in Columbia, South Carolina, right down the road. Graduated as a captain, company commander of A Company.
I'm Trip Osteen. I was class of 2013 from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was the battalion S1, and now I go to Wofford College, and I'm a double major in business economics and government. I'm also an Army ROTC cadet.
all right, and now for our cadets tonight. So class of 2015, we'll start with Charles.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Charles Klutzley. I'm from Delaware, and I'm graduating on Sunday, and I'll be going to the University of Delaware.
And how about you, Matt?
My name is Matt Phillips. I'm the cadet first sergeant of Band and Staff Company. I'll be graduating in, 3 days. And after that, I'll be going to Presbyterian College for pharmacy.
Great, and you, Ray?
I'm Ray Gradwell. I'm from Cape May, New Jersey. I'm graduating on Sunday, and I'll be going to Belmont Abbey College next year and playing lacrosse there for Division II.
All right, great. Okay, guys, and you for the viewers, just want to introduce myself. I'm Casey Robinson. I'm Director of Admissions, and I'll be kind of moderating the conversation tonight. But want to invite you to ask questions of these cadets and alumni. Again, go to any of our social media outlets and just ask the question and use the hashtag Camden Military, and we will get to as many of those live questions as possible. But we're going to get started tonight with an easy question for kind of everybody, and we'll ask a cadet to start with maybe. Matt, we'll start with you and just kind of ask you, whose idea was Camden, and why was it a good idea for you?
Originally, it was my dad's. My dad passed away back in 2010, and he knew that I was going to be trouble for my mom to handle. And him and his co-worker had actually planned out Camden Military Academy for me. And I mean, looking at it now, it was a great decision. I'm glad I came here.
And Ray, how about you? Why Camden?
I was having trouble getting structure with schoolwork and sports, and me and my dad were looking around for a structured boarding school, and we found Camden, and it's helped me out great with the study hall hours that they give us.
Good. And Rivers, we'll go back to you. Why Camden for you?
Well, similar story to everybody else. I started my sophomore year. Kind of recently, parents had recently gotten divorced. Was acting out a little bit in school. Needed a little bit of structure. My mom felt like I needed a little bit of structure. Camden Military was the best option for me. So it certainly taught me a lot of structure and guidance. It was great for me.
Awesome. All right. Well, now we're going to ask Charles if you'll tell us a little bit maybe about grades. How were your grades prior to Camden, and how are they now?
Well, before Camden, my grades were pretty good. I made about a B average in most of my classes. And then after coming here and getting the structure I needed and the help from my teachers, I have pretty much straight A's now. So this school's definitely helped with just getting the structure I need to focus on my studies.
Awesome. And how about you, Ray?
Sir?
How are your grades prior to Camden, and how are they now?
Before Camden, I would have either an A in like 1 or 2 classes, and I'd have C's or D's in the rest of them. Now I have all A's or a B plus in my classes.
Good. Now, for our current cadets, sometimes we have parents who are a little concerned about their son being away from home, or going off to boarding school or military boarding school especially. So let's see, Matt, tell us a little bit about the transition. Were you homesick, and how did you kind of overcome that or adjust to Camden?
My first 2 weeks here, I was really homesick. I bawled my eyes out the first 2 weeks here, and a couple of the older boys kind of talked to me a little bit, made friends with me, talked me through it, and The dean of students also, I got really close with him for a little bit, and it kind of helped me push my way through. So.
Good, good. And how about you, Ray? How about tell us a little bit about that? You're from New Jersey, so that's obviously a long way from home. So how did you adjust to being so far away?
The first night was probably like the only like long that I had. Other than that, it was kind of fun because we had all like the new kids together, and we were all just kind of getting to know each other. So that kind of helped a lot too.
Good. And one thing that kind of separates Camden from other military schools is we do allow cadets to have electronics, so they can have video games and cell phones and things like that. There's lots of rules and regulations that come with them, and there's privilege. They're considered to be privileges. So if a student's grades go down or behavior goes south, then of course we will take away those electronics. But so it's not like maybe Rivers. I'm not sure. Back in the day, did you guys were you allowed to bring video games and cell phones?
Well, back in my day, cell phones weren't quite what they were now. So we had payphone dock outside to make most of our phone calls. So that was a little different.
Yes. All right, and we're going to go back over to Charles for a second. Charles, tell us what kind of leadership opportunities have you been able to find here at Camden?
Well, there's definitely been a lot of leadership opportunities here. I mean, it's a military school, so it's set up for you to learn how to be a leader. And your first year here, they kind of introduce you to learn how to be led by others. And then as you progress through the years, you slowly learn how to lead a few people, and then 20 people, and then just you progress on from there.
Okay, cool. And Trip, we'll ask you kind of the same question. What type of leadership role did you step into here at Camden?
Well, by my second year, I mean, I came in junior year, so I was only at Camden for 2 years. By my second year, I was helping out the battalion commander with anything he needed. So I guess you could say I was second in command of, the entire battalion. So that offered me with a lot of leadership decisions I had to make, sometimes choose a right decision, sometimes choose a wrong one. And that just kind of like helped develop my character going into college, so I knew I'd be having to make those same types of decisions in a little different setting. So that was a really positive benefit of the leadership position that I was put in. And then I also just kind of trickled into my, ROTC life now in college. I got a superior cadet in my sophomore class based upon leadership and PT and a bunch of other things, but it still all kind of like plays a role and just kind of like building blocks in the process.
Good. And again, I just want to remind the viewers that you can participate live with us now. You can post your question on any of our social media outlets using the hashtag Camden Military, and we will get to your questions here live on the air, so feel free to go ahead and start submitting those. I want to ask a question of the cadets now. This was kind of a deep question, but how do you think you've changed? What's the most positive change you've seen in yourself since you've been here at Camden? We'll start with you, Charles.
Well, the major thing that's changed for me is probably my time management skills. They weren't the best before I got here, but after being here and having to be at a certain place at a certain time every day, I definitely learned how to keep track of my own schedule and set my own schedule a lot better.
Yeah. How about you, Ray? What's the biggest positive change you've seen?
Time management and being able to get my work done and staying on top of my schoolwork.
Good. And how about you, Matt?
I'd have to say responsibility. I wasn't really that responsible before I came here, and I had a lot of problems trying to get where I needed to be, when I needed to be, and hanging out with the people I needed to hang out with. And ever since I came here, I kind of I got a better concept of my time and how I need to spend it.
Okay, good. And now for the alumni, I'm going to ask you kind of a similar question. What do you feel like maybe like the best lesson that you learned while you were at Camden? That maybe helped you in college or maybe later in life. And Trip, we'll start with you on that one.
Okay. I'd say a really good lesson that I still kind of utilize today has been, like the other guy said, time management. That's played a pretty key role. Learning to like prioritize my homework each night before other things. I mean, we have the mandatory study hall at Camden, so I was used to buckling down and getting my work done. So in college, you obviously have a lot more freedom than at Camden, which goes without saying. And so I could choose, to do something else, go out or whatever. But I buckled down to get my homework done. So that's been a really big benefit of going to Camden for me.
And how about you, Rivers?
Similar. Yeah, the the time management, being able to prioritize things, was obviously a big thing I've learned. But obviously, another big thing was leadership. You know, being a company commander and leading a group of 60, 70 of your peers is a difficult thing to do. So it really taught me how to handle that situation and handle a lot of things under pressure, which has definitely helped me later in my professional career, for sure.
Good. And I know Tripp's at Wofford, and we have Rivers. I think you attended the University of South Carolina.
That's right.
And that was you left a small school like Camden and transitioned into a large public university. What was the transition like? Was it hard or difficult because you'd gone to a smaller school, or?
Well, to be completely honest, it was a huge transition. First semester was a challenge, but it was scaling things, you know, to do things on a bigger level. You know, there wasn't somebody there for me to tell me when to go to study hall, when to study, when to wake up, when to go to breakfast. You know, nobody forcing me to go to class. So it was a transition for sure, especially going to a big university. But after a while, you're just the routines and everything you learn here are just ingrained in you. So eventually they kick in, and it's just become second nature to do those types of things. So.
Right. Yeah, I've heard stories from other alumni, like, you know, at 7:30 at night when they're in college, they kind of get the itch that they need to be in study hall. So that's a good thing, you know. Instead of going to a frat party or to a basketball game, maybe you want to go study. And Tripp, how about you going to Wofford? Was there a big transition between high school and college?
Not really. Before I went to Camden, I went to a really small private school, so I wasn't exposed to, you know, say a couple hundred large high school. So Camden was obviously a little bit bigger than what I was used to, but not that much. And then when I went to college, I mean, Wofford is 1,800, 2,000 kids. So I mean, it's really not that. It wasn't that much of a transition. I learned to prioritize my time. A lot of the same characteristics at Camden are at Wofford. Like, I'm really close with my teachers. They know my name. We text each other. That's a benefit I found in the small liberal arts college, and I mean that was just good for me. I mean, everyone's different, but it was more similar to Camden, I would say.
Okay, good. And we do have our first question from Twitter, and this is going to a cadet, so we'll give this one to Ray. So Ray, what is the one tip you would give incoming cadets about how to make the most of Camden?
Probably just listen to their chain of command, their tactical officers, and that would just make their time a whole lot easier than if they're just trying to avoid their TAC officers and just not listen.
All right. Now, when you say chain of command, Matt, can you kind of tell us what the chain of command is? What do they do?
Well, your chain of command is really just like a chain that you follow up. You know, you have the lowest part of the chain of command, which is going to be your squad leaders, and that's kind of for the more underclassmen people. And from there, it goes to your platoon sergeant, and then to your platoon leader, and then to the first sergeant, and then to the captain and all that.
Okay.
And
go up.
Sir?
So with the ranks and going up in rank, you get more responsibilities, but you also get more privileges and.
Oh yes. Wednesdays you have officers leave, and that's for like the sword bearers, sword bearing ranks. They get to, you know, have a little bit of free time during study hall, you know, as long as they're keeping their grades up and everything. So it's really laid back and chill.
Okay. So yeah, so the more rank, the better the grades, the more privileges you get.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's see, Charles, can you kind of tell us what's the best way to achieve rank at Camden?
Well, the best way that I've found to achieve rank is just have a good attitude, obviously be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and make sure you get good grades, make sure that whatever needs to be done, volunteer to do it, and just generally have a good attitude, and like Matt said, listen to your chain of command.
Okay, good. Now, we have a question for the alum coming in, and they want to know, have you maintained friendships here at Camden with other cadets, you know, since you graduated? What's the friendships like? So Tripp, we'll let you start with that.
I definitely have, especially the guys on staff with me, you know. My roommate, Nestor Ruiz, who was the BC, we still call each other up and just like catch up and talk for an hour. and that may seem weird for like a couple guys or whatever in a military setting, but I don't know. We're just like bros. We hang out when we can. I'm also really good friends with another cadet from where I live back at home. So I don't know. We just stay in contact, and even though it may not be on a day-to-day basis or even a weekly basis, you still kind of have that like connection and brotherhood that you experienced when we went through the same stuff when we went to Camden.
Yeah. So Rivers, I've heard in the past, about the cadets talking about the brotherhood and that type. I mean, is it really that you get that close that you feel like brothers with some of these guys?
You do, especially the guys in your company. I mean, you live with them pretty much 24/7, so you can't help. I mean, you see them more than just about anybody, more than your family, more than anybody. So they really become your family. And as far as keeping up with a lot of previous cadets, I mean, it's been 14 years since I graduated, so we've kind of moved all over the country, so I've got friends all over. Thanks to Facebook, it's easy for us to keep up. But yeah, they've still good friends with a lot of them, been to a lot of their weddings, and done a lot of things with a lot of cadets that I've graduated with.
Awesome. Now we have another question from Facebook. This is for the alumni again. So we will start with you, Rivers, for this one. And it says, why are you proud to call yourself a CMA graduate? So Rivers, why are you proud to be a CMA graduate and why?
Yeah, first of all, I am proud to be a CMA graduate. More than anything, just because of the challenge it was, to adjust to get here, and the camaraderie I built with friends, and I think outside of CMA, when you tell people that you graduated from a military school, I think they immediately give you the respect that they may not give others, just because a lot of people realize what it takes to come to a military school, especially high school, and graduate and leave family at that age. So a lot of people respect you for that, and I'm proud to say I graduated from CMA.
Good. And how about you, Trip?
Yeah, I definitely am proud, especially in the South. It's a lot like the Citadel. And then also for me, it's more personal, kind of like family legacy for me that I'm a part of. So I'm proud to say that I graduated from Camden as well.
Great. And then for the cadets, I have a question for you. Sometimes, people don't look as favorably at military schools as we wish they would. Sometimes people kind of have the misconception that military schools are for bad kids or troubled kids and things like that. And of course we're not. But Matt, has anyone ever given you a hard time maybe for, saying, oh, you're going to military school and, that kind of thing? And how do you respond to them?
I get picked. I used to get picked on a lot my first year when I got sent off to military school because everybody thought I was a bad kid. I had a lot of people going around saying, "Oh yeah, he's going to military school," but a lot of my senior friends that are graduating this year from the public high school from where I'm from, sitting down with them and talking to them, they're like, "Man, I wish I would have had that opportunity to go to a military school. I would have had a lot more structure, and I'd have been graduating probably in like the top of my class." So.
Good, yeah, and I do encourage viewers to visit. I think there is a few different stereotypes out there, about military schools. One being that, we're here to train soldiers and that type of thing, and the other one being that it's more of a prison type atmosphere, and we're neither. Here at Camden, you're going to be given a lot of the military principles, so we're going to, give you some time management skills like these guys have talked about, some organizational skills. But of course, academics is the most important thing for us, and we're trying to get these guys ready and prepared for college at the next level. And also, just want to remind everybody, continue to send in your questions, any of the social media outlets, and just use the hashtag Camden Military, and we will get to your questions. So now I have a question for cadets that says, what do you do during your unstructured time? What kind of things do you like to be involved in? So I guess, guys, can you tell me a little bit about sports and clubs maybe that you're part of? And Charles, we'll start with you.
Well, during my free time, we usually have about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, and then on the weekends we have longer. And I'm on the drill team at this school, something that I did when I was in public school. And this is the first year we've had a drill team for the Blackjacks here. And so I started that this year, and I really enjoy doing it. And when I'm not doing that, just go out to the football field or something, play frisbee, play catch with the football, just anything like that. Just go outside and have fun.
All right. And how about you, Ray? What do you like to do for fun? What kind of sports interests you got?
I've done wrestling this year and lacrosse, and Usually when I'm not having structured practice, I usually just go out to the field and practice lacrosse or throw the ball against the wall for a little bit. And I'm also on the Key Club. I've been the president this year. So I've also structured a lot of community service projects with that.
All right, we have 12 different sports here at Camden, and we have middle school, JV, and varsity level sports. So we also have a no-cut policy in our sports program. We really encourage these guys to get out and participate in sports. And then we also have the intramural program that everyone would participate in. So we do like to keep these guys active. All right, now we're going to go back over to the alumni for a second. And Trip, we'll start with you. What kind of supports did you have here at Camden that helped you be successful? What did you have here academically, maybe tutorials, things like that, that helped you have success?
I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. My grades before Camden weren't really that bad. Like, when I went to Camden, they didn't really change because I didn't really struggle in the academic department. So, like what I was saying, it's just like it comes back to just the habits that you form in the regulated environment. Just proved to be so true and helpful later on in life. And it's just like it's the whole. I've been fighting this out, and just with the whole military aspect of things. Like even in the Army, the skills I'm going to learn as an officer in the Army will prove to be so helpful when I'm going to the business world, civilian life. And so just back to those things I learned at Camden have just helped me in my college career, whether it's time management, dedication to my work, making right choices among my peers, just different things like that.
All right. And Rivers, how about you? What did you miss the most when you graduated? When you left Camden, what was something that you really missed?
Oh, man. Probably just my friends that I'd left. You know, we were all going in different directions. You know, going back, like I said, I mean, for 3 years, a lot of the guys that I graduated with, we lived together pretty much 24/7, except when we left on the weekends. So they were my family. So for sure, without question, it was my friends here that I'd left. A lot of the teachers and faculty that I'd gotten close with. My TAC officer was I was extremely close with. So leaving those people behind was definitely the thing I missed the most, for sure.
All right. And we're going to go back over to Charles for a second. And we have a question from Facebook that says, were your parents supportive of your decision to attend CMA?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They definitely supported me. It was actually my idea to come here. I just thought that I've always wanted to kind of see what the military was like, and I thought this would be a good place just to see it and try it out. And they definitely supported me the whole way.
Awesome. All right. And to follow up on something that Rivers said a few minutes ago, you mentioned a TAC officer that you were really close to. I want to give both Tripp and Rivers a chance to, you know, maybe give a shout out to maybe someone who really impacted you while you were here at Camden. Tripp, is there anyone that really stood out for you?
Sergeant Major Green was my guy that I really liked a lot. I mean, he instilled some values in me and some life lessons. The things that he's seen in life and gone through is incomprehensible, just like the stuff that he's been through. And so I always tried to pick up on the lessons that he had when I could. And I still call him and check on, see how he's doing, and just kind of like catch up. That was a pretty unique friendship that I've had. I don't think everyone has the chance to have. And I don't know. That would be someone that I would really respect.
Cool. How about you, Rivers?
Well, for me, without question, I had two people that I was extremely close with. Colonel Cook, who is no longer with us, was my TAC officer all 3 years, was like a second father to me while I was here. I saw him more than my parents, more than anybody back home. He was somebody I trusted, could talk to about anything, which was nice when you leave home for the first time, especially. And John Heflin was. Got to know him as a teacher my first year, and we have got to become pretty close. He came to my wedding last year, so those two people, without a doubt, had the biggest influence on me when I was here.
Great. All right, now we've got a question from Twitter, and Matt, we'll start with you on this one. It says, what do you think sets Camden apart from other schools? So what's different from Camden than maybe your school prior to coming to Camden?
It would definitely have to be the structure and the fact that it's a boarding school. You're staying here year round, and with the structure, you know, your whole day is set out for you. You know, you get up at 6 o'clock. You know, you get dressed, clean your room, go to breakfast, and then after the meal, you know, you got different activities you can do, and then you go to class, and it's just on and on and on, and it's every day. And I'd have to say that sets it out the most from a public school.
And how about you, Ray? What would you say the big difference is between public and here?
The smaller classes, and then the teachers will actually take the time to get to know you and help you with the problems you're having with their classwork, and the study hall that they give you, the time to do your homework, get that stuff done.
Good. Yeah, our class size, by the way, is about 12 to 15. We do have some college classes that will get up into the 17. So that's the largest class that we have. So typically 9th through 12th grade, you're looking at 12 to 15. Now, over to Rivers for a second. I'm sure a lot of boys don't look at this as a great opportunity, maybe, you know, initially when their parents bring up, hey, we're going to military school. But now, you know, you've graduated, you're in your professional career. Would you do it all over again?
Without a doubt, yeah, absolutely. There's no question. I would do it all over again. There's things in my life today on a daily basis that I use, you know, that I learned at Camden that are just second nature in my life. So without a doubt, I would do it over completely.
Yeah. And how about you, Trip?
Yeah, definitely. Just, I mean, if I could do it again, it'd just be another rebonding of the friendships I established and hanging out with the guys. I mean, no one else has ever experienced like hanging, like River said, just being with your bros 24/7, 365 almost. That just forms a super, just a really deep bond between one another, and that's just really unique.
Yeah. And Charles, I know this is your first year at Camden, but how about you? I mean, is it kind of the same thing for you?
I'm sorry?
As far as this being your first year at Camden, do you have the strong friendships and things that these other guys that talk about that have been here for several years?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even on my first day here, I made friends immediately with people that just approached me and started talking, and definitely 3 or 4 years from now, I'll definitely be good friends with them still.
Now, we'll give Rivers a chance to kind of give a tip to these guys about maybe something these last few days of school. We're down to, 3 or 4 days of school left. What's something they really need to grab hold on and take advantage of while they're at Camden before they get out into the real world?
Just enjoy it while you've got, you know, only a few days left, for sure. My last week got a bad case of senioritis and didn't really appreciate it towards the end. And for sure, after I left, I wish I had. So just, you know, don't rush to get out. Enjoy the few days you have left with your friends and the teachers and the staff, because once you leave, it might be a while before you can get back.
And Trip, how about you?
I agree with everything Rivers said. I mean, he hit the nail pretty much on the head. Also, my advice is not to be anything stupid that'll keep you from walking the stage, because it's happened before and you don't want to be that guy. So keep your head screwed on straight still. It's not over yet.
All right, guys. Okay, well, I just want to remind everyone that we have other Google Hangouts here on our website, so feel free to check those out. And I want to go over the admissions criteria really quickly. If you are interested in attending Camden, just simply fill out that application online at camdenmilitary.com. We will contact you within just a couple of days, get you either a campus visit or a Skype interview set up, and get your transcripts, and then the rest is history. So hopefully one day you can be like this band of brothers that I'm looking at here in the Hangout tonight. So, all right, we'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight, the alumni as well as the cadets, and also thank all the viewers who watched and participated. And until next time, good night from Camden Military Academy.